Right now, the move away from coal and towards wind and solar, Matt, it is becoming a total disaster. In this respect, England, I think, is ahead of us in some ways down the disaster road. Let me show you what Britain relied on for electricity just a few hours ago, just before sunrise. So, of course, it doesn't show most of the solar output. You find it being run on mainly gas, that's the blue, and nuclear, that's the orange. But look what's missing. Britain spent billions of dollars on new wind farms, but the power it got from them earlier today was so small that it's barely a blip, 0.3% of electricity. In fact, Britain made so little electricity itself earlier today, it had to import a whole lot from countries like France, Holland, and Norway. But Matt, we don't have nuclear power to bail us out. We don't have extension cords to other countries either.
Exactly right, Andrew. And this also means that we don't have any excuses for making the same mistakes as Europe. We should thank the Europeans for showing the rest of the world how not to implement an energy policy. They've pretty much made every wrong move over the past couple of decades. They now find themselves in an absolute energy crisis. They were lucky last European winter. It was very warm. Maybe global warming came to their rescue, but this winter's looking a lot different with El Nino forming again. So they are in a dire straits over there, and yet we have an energy minister, a government here in Australia that is hell-bent on doing exactly the same thing that the Germans have done, that the English have done, and that's led them to this absolute disaster. I mean, just keep in mind, if you look at Europe, you can see the lessons there. In Germany today, they're paying 54 cents a kilowatt hour for electricity now, in Australian dollar terms. They, of course, have shut their nuclear power stations, have spent $500 billion on solar and wind that doesn't really work. Across the border in France, they pay 33 cents a kilowatt hour, 40% lower, and 2/3 of their electricity come from nuclear power stations. So it's there in black and white, yet we still have this ridiculous charade where our energy minister is arguing with Gina Reinhardt, with lots of businesses now and experts saying nuclear is too expensive. Well, how does he explain the French and German experience?
Yeah, I thought one of the chief economists of one of our banks made a very good point to Albanese a couple of days ago, one that I think both of us have been saying for ages. Why should a government actually ban nuclear power? Just lift the ban and leave it to the market. You say it's too expensive, the market will figure it out. Some company will say, no, I can make it work, or they can't. They'll lose their shirt, or maybe they'll make a fortune. Leave it to them. Why the ban?
Well, and I've got a bill that can just support my bill before the Senate right now. It's very, very simple to remove the ban. In fact, Andrew, you might be interested to know, not many of you know this, that the ban that came into place was a Greens amendment that was moved in the Senate to a bill to build a new reactor at Lucas Heights. And the Labor Party supported it, and the Howard government ultimately just let it go through because they needed the Lucas Heights reactor built and there was no prospect for nuclear at the time. This ban never went to an election. It was never part of a major party's political platform that the Australian people voted on. It was passed in the Senate with less than 10 minutes of debate. Less than 10 minutes of debate. And we've ended up with this albatross around our neck, which is stopping us from investing in reliable power. This ban was always unwise. It is now out of date and out of step with the rest of the world, and we're running out of time to keep our lights on and get power prices back down for people. So we've got to get rid of this ban as soon as possible. My committee, we've had a Senate committee on it. We've just reported. It goes back to the Senate now. Let's have the debate. Let's remove this ban. And if Chris Bowen is right and it's too expensive, as you say, no one will invest in it.
That's true. I don't know why government thinks it knows better than business what works and what doesn't. How often has it proved to be exact opposite, that it's government that's the problem? Matt Canavan, thank you so much indeed for your time.